Okay, so why is homesteading so enticing? Because really, when you think about it, it doesn't make sense, especially by today's standards. Hi, I'm Katie, and if you are looking into getting into homesteading, hit that subscribe button because I cover all of that on my channel and more. With all of the conveniences that we have today in the world, all of the reasons to want to make a lot of money to either buy fancy things, travel, or I don't know, you name it, go on vacations, which is also traveling, or just wanting that or having that desire for a career, especially put on by society, that pressure of going in the career direction for a typical 9-to-5 job. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that homesteading would be something that people would want to do. Because really, when you think about it, it's hard work. It doesn't always pay off. You do need money to invest, at least to start, whether it's tools and equipment or things for the kitchen and so on and so forth. And it's not easy. Not all the time. There's a lot of learning that comes with it. So why is it so enticing? And now, full disclaimer, I'm just a beginner in my homesteading journey, but I think a lot of it has to do with the idea that we are sold, like what we want, what we need in our life. And unfortunately, it's not a one-size-fits all. Like, so often I find what works for someone else does not work for me and vice versa. And because I have so much to say about this topic, I'm very passionate about it, I've decided to split it up into 6 different sections. If you're interested in seeing the other episodes that I intend to come out with, I will put those below in the description. So if you want to see it, hit that subscribe button and bell, and you will get notified when I post the new episode. This first one, I do want to talk about the education system, how it kind of steered us wrong in this way, and why homesteading is all that more enticing. So what does the education system have to do with homesteading? Well, with homesteading, it's a different type of learning. It's not being force-fed material that you don't really care to learn because that's what you need to do to get the degree or the GED or whatever. It's the literal hands-on experience that the classroom setting just simply can't offer. So, for example, let's take college. In my personal opinion, college is a complete waste of time for most people. And I'm saying this as someone who went to college too. I mean, personally, I probably, maybe, and this is being generous, only use about 10% of the information that I learned throughout my 4.5 years at college. And all of which could have been learned either through experience or online. So it's not even like it's designated from college. Like, I could have learned it somewhere else. And the thing is, most of my time there, or at least half of it, was doing the prereq classes, the general ed. And I have to spend money on that. And it's like, okay, this is what high school was for. Why do I need to take these classes? And it's just so frustrating. And I know most people go through the same thing because that is the standard amongst most colleges. You need to take those prereq classes. And how they pitch it to you is that you're well-rounded after all said and done. And you have to question, why do they do this? It just seems like such a waste of resources. And to me, it all boils down to the money. College is literally just a moneymaker, nothing more. And don't get me wrong, I wholeheartedly believe there needs to be some sort of education behind certain careers, more so than others. Like, let's say if you're going to be a doctor or something. But then I would say, why can't hospitals or the area that you want to work at as a doctor have some kind of system where you can be on site and that's where you learn, even if you're not paid? Why do you have to get that third party of college involved? To me, it just seems like an extra step. And I'm not anti-classroom too. I know, like, in the trades, you do need to have so many classroom hours. So I think there's definitely a place for it. But most of the trades, their foundation of their career is on the hands-on experience. They're apprentices before they're journeymen or anything like that. So why can't the academics be the same way? And because you're sold on the ship from early high school, the idea to go to college and have a career, most students follow suit and they do that. And as a result, they end up being in so much debt from that degree that even if they wanted to do homesteading, it might not be an option because they have no other choice but to get a career in the area of expertise that they ended up going into in college because they need that extra money to pay down their debt. And then it's just a vicious cycle because both parents are working, they send their kids off to public school, the kids end up following in the same footsteps as the parents, and they never really have that opportunity to be on a homestead or know what it's like to have that kind of lifestyle. And I know this might sound radical to most, but just hear me out. Outside of teaching kids the fundamentals, even for elementary and high school, what's the point? And now, so I'm looking at it from the perspective of one day, I hope to have kids and I hope to be in a position to homeschool them. And so, of course, my mind's going through and I'm like, all right, like personally, history is not my strong suit. So it's like, ooh, like I might have to brush up on my history to be able to teach them. And then I have to ask myself, what is the point if I've made it this far in life to brush up on those random history dates when my future kids might not be interested in history like myself? How is it adding any value to their life if it's not a value to my life? Now, it'd be one thing if they're actually interested in history, then yeah, I'll have to brush up on my history. But outside of the fundamentals, what is the point to having this specific date that I don't even remember of this thing that happened in history that I don't even fully remember the details? So the idea that I want to challenge is, how long does it actually take to teach kids the fundamentals of science, math, history, so on and so forth? And on the homestead, there's so many opportunities to actually have hands-on experience to do this. In the kitchen, we can be using fractions to double a batch of whatever we're making. Or in the garden, there's the different opportunities to learn about growth of the plants and sun and photosynthesis and so on and so forth. Like there's so many different opportunities. You just got to get a little creative. And I would even go further to say it gives me the opportunity to teach kids skills that are lost in the school system, like how to be an adult, how to manage your finances, how to have social skills and be clear in communication, and giving them that one-on-one versus being in a classroom with multiple other students with a teacher who is divided amongst all of them. And most of their time, quite frankly, is spent doing the monotonous work behind all of the things that the teacher needs to get done. So as a way to just kind of wrap things up, I think the education system is a big reason why homesteading is so enticing, and also why people can't go into homesteading, because people start out in high school, they're told to go to college, they get in debt, and then they have kids and they're busy trying to pay off that debt, and the cycle continues. But once the cycle is broken, it lends itself to being able to teach your kids different things on the homestead and having that hands-on experience that they wouldn't have in the classroom. And it also allows you the opportunity to learn new things yourself. I know for me personally, I've been learning so much on my homestead, whether it's in gardening or canning or different, even just different wheat berries, the reaction or the types that you need for making different types of breads. Like there's so much to learn, and it's all good stuff. And it's all things that make me feel fulfilled as a person. And I hope it will make you feel fulfilled as well. But that is all I have for this first part. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, comment if you have any kind of education comments that you want to leave. And until next time, I will see you then.